Hello, dear friends. This is A.O.B. and I'm very glad to be sharing with you this time again. And in this episode, I'll be speaking to you on what I've titled Inside Out. Life is lived inside out and not the other way around. Everything we achieve or fail to achieve in life is a function of what we think within us. What we think inside determines what we take outside. I've observed that one of the major problems behind the ordeal of many in life is the way they think. And unfortunately, many are not aware of this fact that the way they think is actually impacting on their way of life. Because the way you think is the way you live. It's a spiritual law and it's a universal principle. Whether you know it or not is not an excuse. It is established that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. The way we think determines what we achieve in the physical life. It determines what we manifest in the physical. In our health, in our finances, in our career, in our marriage, in the general pursuit in life. So we must mind how we think and what we think about. Per time, it matters. Thoughts are seeds. Although you may not see the fruit immediately, but it is very certain that someday, either very soon or later, the fruit will be ripe for everyone to see. It does not matter whether a farmer unknowingly or mistakenly dropped a seed to the ground. Whatever it is, the seed must germinate. The ground will not pay cognizance to why and how the farmer dropped the seed, particularly if the seed is dropped on a good soil, not on a concrete floor. I like to give instances, certain ways where some people limit themselves in life just because of the way they think. I've seen, people failing, people suffering from poverty, lack and want, just because of the wrong mentality they are working with. I've seen people with great muscles yet fell flat to life challenges simply because they are low in their mental capacity. If there's any area you need to pay attention to, it's actually building your mental capacity so that you can begin to attract the things you desire in life. For instance, it does not matter how hard a man works, as long as you cannot think abundance you will keep suffering from lack. You see, prosperity is first a mentality before it becomes a reality. So, unfortunately, some people have wrong notions about money, and so no matter what they do, they can never attract money, or let me say, they can never attract enough of it. For instance, there are those who think money is evil, contrary to what the Word of God says. The Word of God says the love of money is the root of all evil. Money is not the evil, it is the love of it. When you become possessed by money, when you place your love for money above anything else, that's what makes it evil. But then some are giving it their own interpretation, in a way, for some of them to just show maybe they are not driven by money. They tell you money is evil. But then, if you're someone who fears God, it simply means you must do everything to avoid evil in life. You have to run away from evil. So you may be working for money, and yet money is running away from you. Yes, both of you are operating on parallel lines. You can never meet. You are righteous and money is evil, and there is no relationship between righteousness and evil. So we need to understand what we think and how we think. There are also those who think, you see, there is not enough money in the world to go around. Some people have been destined to be rich, while some are destined to be poor. And so no matter how hard they work in life, they remain poor because they are operating an insufficient mentality. It is not enough. So they are only scrambling for the little they think is available. To them, it is the survivor of the fittest. You see, let me say this again. Once you lose a battle inside of you, don't even bother contesting for that battle in the physical. Don't bother yourself engaging in the physical, because your defeat has already been established. What about the area of health? You know, there are those who just have certain beliefs about health, even though some of them are false. And so they cannot enjoy good health whenever they work, not necessarily stressful work, or whenever there's a change of weather, or whenever they change location, they fall victim of illness because they are working with the wrong mentality. You see, I've read in books, and it has been proven both scientifically and psychologically that about 70% of the health challenges humans experience are due to psychological disorder. You are first sick in your mind before you are sick in your body. It takes the strength of the mind to sustain your body. But when your mind is sick, your body will most definitely feel the effect. Your body will be down as well. Also in the area of self-esteem. You see, self-esteem is not something you get from anywhere. Yes, You may have read books, you may have attended seminars, where the speaker must have spoken so greatly. But until you build a self-esteem mindset or mentality, you keep suffering in life. You cannot think low of yourself and expect others to think high of you. Even if they do, you are still not free from that bondage of low self-esteem, because it is first what you think about yourself before what others think about you. For as you think in your heart, so you are. It does not matter what the whole world thinks about you. If you are not thinking right, you will never live right. The same thing with success. People first succeed in their mind before they experience the physical manifestation of success. If you think you can, then you will. And if you think you can't, then you will not. Even if the entire world comes together to help you. I told you earlier, it's a universal principle. It's an established and spiritual law that cannot be broken. We live inside out and not outside in. For instance, I work with a success mentality. I believe I can never fail, no matter what it is that I do. And it's been working for me. Even in areas or assignments that seem very tough or that have not been well trained. But I don't struggle with them. That's just the truth. That's to tell you how powerful the mind is. Yes, training is good. Of course, there are many people who have been trained for certain assignments or on certain fields, yet they cannot deliver because they probably have low self-esteem, or they don't believe in themselves, or they are just afraid. Yes, because fear itself is more of a mindset than any other thing. I remember while I was in the university, there was this lecturer, a very great lecturer, and people felt the man was too difficult. And then, generally people don't do well in his exams. Well, he was to start taking me from 300 level. So before I got there, I didn't know much about him, and I didn't know why people were not doing well in his course. The two sets before us seemed to be the best. They were able to produce, I think 2 Bs and the rest like that. That was the best. And then the sets before us, they did better. If I can remember, they produced about 4 Bs. That was it. But then it was our turn. And the same story continues, people telling you, this man, well, the best you can do is this. You can't do much. But the first time I attended his lecture, I didn't see anything strange. I didn't see anything difficult about the course, nor about the man. So after we were done with his lecture, I spoke to my friend. I said, we can disappoint this man. By disappointment, I mean we can actually shock the entire department and prove to them that there's no big deal about this course. Another day again, after his lecture, I repeated the same statement to my friend. To cut the long story short, the end of the semester came, we wrote his exam, and to actually prove that there's a mental force that is either working for us based on what we think or working against us still based on what we think. The condition under which we wrote the exam was not very good. We started very lately, the invigilators were not available, and then we had to be writing exam in the dark. The number of hours, the duration meant for the exam was reduced because we started late and they didn't want to, leave the school very late. But yet, I didn't give up in my belief. Eventually, the result came out. And you know what? For the first time in the history of the department, that was about 16 years the man had been lecturing in that department, we produced 3 A's. 3 students got A in his course and some other persons got B. And by the grace of God, among those 3 that got A in the course, I was one of them. Yes, I know someone would think you probably, prepared so well for the exam. Of course, every student is expected to prepare well for every exam. There's no course or subject that is expected to be taken lightly. But above all, make sure you believe in what you are preparing for. Because the main reason a lot of people fail exam is not because they did not prepare. It is mostly because they do not believe. And that is why we have so many average students around. The same thing in career. We have so many average employees. They don't believe in themselves. Some are just, just working for working's sake. I often say that it is not just about what you do, but how you do it. I don't put my effort, I don't waste my time in what I don't believe in. For instance, I'm recording this podcast. Of course, it's not enough that I'm doing this. If I don't believe people would listen to it, if I don't believe I have a message for someone or that I know that will change life, I shouldn't be here. So I'm not just here playing. I know I'm here to affect life, and I'm never tired putting out content that will educate people, inspire them, and empower them in life. And by the grace of God, what started about 5 years ago, just on a social media, we now have a podcast that has a very wide coverage in terms of applications where you can listen to it. Now, as I speak with you, people listen to my podcast in nothing less than 8 nations. And interestingly, let me tell you this, a greater number of my audience are not based in Nigeria. Yes. It's as shocking to me the same way it's shocking to you. How that happens, no one can explain. But from the beginning, I believed and I had a great mindset, and I'm still building my mindset. So you must first sit down to think about your mindset, to build a mindset and a mentality that will deliver results in whatsoever you're going into. Don't waste your time, don't waste your energy, don't waste your resources going into anything that you don't believe in. Remember, life is lived inside out, not outside in. If you cannot imagine it in your heart, it will never emerge on the earth. If you cannot believe it in your heart, you cannot become it in the physical. If you cannot see it through the eyes of your mind, you cannot seize it with your hand. That is how powerful our mind is. The writer, King Solomon, said, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So you can understand that it is impossible for you to live independent of your mind. That is why it's so important that you don't take it for granted. Think positive, think goodness, think success, think health, think breakthrough, think victory. Don't work against yourself. Don't think thoughts that will work against your success in life. You're not helping yourself, you're not helping anyone. Even if people are out there to help you, you will just waste their time and resources because you don't believe in yourself. So please, I encourage you, from this time, make sure you pay attention on everything you do. Believe in yourself, believe in what you do, believe in God's ability to deliver to you whatsoever you believe. God delivers based on our faith, not what we don't believe, so that it doesn't burden us with His blessings. That's the truth. That is the truth. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Until the next time when I shall be coming your way again, keep on changing levels, and bye for now.